Hello, welcome to the United Devil channel with me, JB. This is your Canada Qatar watch along. I've just noticed that I've got the complete wrong flags up. But look, this is your Canada watch along. Canada versus Qatar. I've just seen I've literally got the wrong flags up, but I can sort that. So look, I hope we're all doing extremely well. There is a load of stuff to talk about as well. And again, we've been good again talking about Sander Berge, scary updates on that as well. So look, this is your watch along for World Cup 2026, Canada versus Qatar. So please get in there with anything that you've seen today. We just watched the Swiss game. They absolutely routed Bosnia today. So it's always good to see some good results, some big results and some big scorelines as you get into the second game of the World Cup. That always sort of tends to happen, is that you then kind of get the teams who starting to find their rhythm, starting to get into it, and you know, all that good stuff as well. So look, as I say, I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel. Please get in there with your comments about United. This is a Man United fan channel, but we are doing a watch along for the game today. So look, we've already got Scott in the chat saying hello, my friend. Hello, buddy. Hope you're doing very well. I'm sure we get the regular mob in as well. So look, this is another World Cup game. You know, let me know after last night about, are you happy with how England performed? Do you think England did well? You know, I've seen a lot of comments this morning. I've seen a lot of pundits talk about how England played amazing, never mind forgetting the first half and all that good stuff as well. But look, please feel free to get in. Let me know about your World Cup moments so far. What has been your favorite World Cup moment? I think for me at the moment, probably Lionel Messi's hat trick. I think he's been absolutely immense. And look, do not forget to get into this amazing community. Please like, favorite, and subscribe. It really does help us out for this Canada Qatar game. And this is an intriguing game to me. You know, I've found that there's been a lot of matchups, and again, you know, you do get a lot of these games that are, how can I put it? You know, they are interesting games. But you know, you got Scotland tomorrow. You've got England coming up. England have put themselves in a very good position as well. So look, I'll give you the teams, and then we can talk a little bit about United news as well, as this is a United fan channel. But we will talk about the news as well on Sander Berge. We were talking about Sander Berge on this channel 2 days ago. It's funny, isn't it? How this channel talks about players, and then what then tends to happen is that it then goes out into the mainstream, because we are very good on this channel at what we do. So let's go through the lineups of the Canada team. Canada are ranked 30th in the world, going against Qatar, who are ranked 56th. Now, I'm probably going to butcher these names, so just bear with me on this one. And please do not forget to get in there with your comments as well. I really want to know what you've been up to today as well. So look, you've got Crepu in goal. I've probably destroyed the name. I said Johnston, De Fugales, Cornelius, Layea, Ahmed, Kone, Esquio, Buchanan, Larin, and David on the Qatarian side. Oh my God, I'm going to absolutely butcher these names, so I apologize in advance. You got Abdana, you got Awi, you got Pedro Miguel, you've got Kukuhi, you've got Al Amin, you've got Gabor, you've got Madibu, Layen, Edmilson Jr., Adorisek, and Avif. I actually think I did okay there. I apologise in advance if I butchered those names. Absolutely apologise. So look, guys, let's start off with a little bit of United news. Sander Berge has been mentioned today. We were talking about Sander Berge on this channel the other day. Now, look, whether Sander Berge happened or not, I'm terrified. I'm terrified that we are linked to this play. It absolutely terrifies the hell out of me that this is United's plan. Now, I'll give you the context. Kojo is in the house, and look, Kojo. The one thing about this channel is people. I like to set things up. I'll let you know what they say back to me. Thank you, Scott. Absolute legend. That will be very, very cool. And me and Scott will let you know in due course. Scott is a legend of the channel. And yeah, look, look, we talk about stuff on this channel, right? I tend to set ideas up. I tend to choose what I pick and choose to say on this channel, and there is no coincidence that I mentioned Sander Berge 2 days ago. If you go back, the video is there. There's a reason why I mentioned Sander Berge. Now, look, when we were talking, I'm sure some people on here were saying to me that Sander Berge wasn't going to happen, or I shouldn't be talking about Sander Berge. But there's a reason why I mentioned Sander Berge, is because I knew Sander Berge was going to come back up onto the radar. This channel gets little bits of information, so yeah. And again, look, I'm not going to claim it all. I'll let some other people claim it, but look, we were talking about Sander Berge. So look, whereas the Sander Berge, whereas all this come from. Now look, you've got Belabor is back on the scene. Now look, where this has come from, as we've all been talking about on this channel. I'm not going to claim this. We've all been talking about this. We've been saying on this channel for quite some time, if we don't get Matthias Fernandes, we don't get to Amani, we will look to do Belabor, Sander Berge. We will look to do that sort of deal. And we've said about this on this channel for weeks and weeks and weeks. What other people are talking about, £300 million deals. We have done the math. Look, this is if we get this right, if this community gets this right, it's not luck. It's not, it's called an educated guess, because this is what you get on this channel. What you get on this channel is you get the truth. You don't get clickbait. You don't get spin. Look, we were talking about Lewis Hall on this channel, and again, we're saying that we're not looking, or we're not going to get this player. And what's coming out today is that Lewis Hall is going to be even more difficult to do. Look, it is scary. And this is what I was saying today. This is what I was trying to extend this morning, is this. People don't want Matthias Fernandes necessarily as the #1 target. I get that. But what you've got to understand is all our eggs are in that basket. Unless we get that player, then basically we're going to go for Belabor. We're going to go for a Sander Berge. Gregory is in the house. Like the stream, exactly, and do not forget to get in there with your chats. So look, I've got a little bit of some more stuff, but we'll talk about it if the match is a little bit quiet. Valley Joe says it's all bad. JB lost hope. Same squad, more games with the average midfielders with Carrick in charge. Look, Valley, the only thing I will say, look, is this: some of the deals are not dead yet. Right, look, we are still. Look, I can still give you a bit of a positive spin on this. Now, look, Matthias Fernandes isn't done yet. Now, the scary thing for me is if Madrid want to come in and get the player, they will come in and buy this player. Look, at the moment, while these deals are still on, let's just have hope. The scary thing is, to me, is are we going to pursue this deal? We're not going to complete it, and then we are going to go for a Belabor. We are going to go for a Sander Berge. If we go for Belabor and a Sander Berge, catastrophic. Everything I've said, everything we spoke about on this channel is correct. And it'll be a big middle finger up to everybody else. Because this channel, what we do so well on this channel, is we don't do hyperbole, we don't do clickbait, We talk about the stuff. We follow the numbers. We do all of that stuff. And look, it looks like it's starting to lean towards a very, very cheap summer. But look, let's just say this: there is time to turn it around. Look, there is time. There is no need to panic just yet. That's all I'm saying here. There is no need to panic just yet. CR7 says hi, hello. And look, guys, do not forget to get into this amazing channel, get into this amazing community. That we are watching Canada, we are watching Qatar tonight, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Get in with your chats about football. Get in about the World Cup. Get in about your favourite players. Get in there about anything that you like tonight. Switch says, "I love the Hyper Bowl. I mean the Super Bowl. What is going on?" Well, at the moment, it's Qatar versus Canada versus Qatar. Nearly ready to kick off as well, which is always good. So look. Today, look, to give you a bit of an update on today as well. Look, all I'm going to say for this channel once again, Switch says Cantona. Yes, Cantona, absolute legend player. Of course he is, because he is Cantona. Look, 2 days ago on this channel we mentioned Sander Berge. Now, there's a reason why I mentioned Sander Berge on the channel, because there is no point me coming onto this channel and every single week me saying to you, oh, guess what? My source has told me Sander Berge. My source has told me blah, 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 because you guys are going to get boring. Look, we have, we mentioned Sander Berge, and 2 days ago, and what's now coming out today, the Sander Berge thing terrifies me. Nussa says, good evening, have a great one, thank you. But look, there is still time. Look, it's not all doom and gloom. Look, it is not all doom and gloom. Is Davis playing? No, Davis is not playing. Davis is not playing. He's being managed, so he is not playing. But look, the teams are coming out. Canada are out in force. So Canada are out in force. I'm expecting a good game. But look, please get into the chat. Please give the video a like. Push it out to people. Get in there with me, JB, and this amazing community. Don't forget to get into the United Devil Club, and you get your own little badges. I am. If Sky comes in the house, and Sky's got a little emoji there that I promised that I would put in there. It's all in there. It's all in there. It's all in there. Friends are friends. Right. Canada. Did anybody see the Swiss game? The Bosnia and the Swiss game. That was quite a good game, actually. I quite enjoyed that one. I really did. I really enjoyed that game. So they are coming out. Qatar I don't know, they just don't look up for it. They don't look up for it at all. Come on. Where's my naughty badge? I haven't. I will be doing that one. I will be doing that one. I've had a busy day today. I promised Sky first. I've done Sky's first, and then Switch. I will do yours next. I can't use emoji. Not sure why. You should be able to. It should be there. It should be there. I don't know why you can't. It should be there. I don't know, buddy. Hi, JB. Yesterday, my country Ghana won. Kojo, big up to Ghana. Big up to Ghana. Look, it's always nice to have you guys on here when your countries win. Look, so Kojo, big up to the mighty Ghana. Absolute legends. Of course they are. You promised Sky, yet she's mean. I see where your priorities lie, says Switch. Oh, Switch, come on now, Switch. Stop teasing. Come on, Switch. Come on, buddy. Come on, mate. No, I Switch. I promise you, Switch. yours will be the bestest one ever. Switch. I promise you, yours will be the bestest one ever. Okay. I promise you. I promise you, Switch. I promise you. Look, we are about 5 minutes from kickoff, and we've got the Canadian flag. Nor do the booty here. It's difficult on my end, which prevents the emojis. It's a difficulty on my end, which prevents the emojis from any memberships. Okay. Sky is in the house. Sky, as I said, done the Sky emoji. I hope you like it, Sky. I think it suits you. I think the sky is the limit, meaning that Sky can do anything that she wants to do. Or the Cantonar flag, as you said earlier. Yeah, I can do the Cantonar flag. Let me write these down. Let me write these down. Let me write these down. And what was the other one I said I'd do as well? Yeah, I'll do that one as well. I'll do that one as well. There you go. No worries, Sky. I did promise you, and I'll do one as well for Switch. Of course, Switch will get his own one. Don't you worry about that. So look, guys, come on. What have you been up to today? Let me know. I want to know what you've been up to today. Let me know where you are in the world. Tell me what team you support. Or tell me if you're from Ghana. I want to know where you're from. Let me know. Are you from Qatar? Are you from Canada? Where's Canada, Dave? No, you missed me saying ooh, Cantonar. Sorry, you said ooh, Canada. You no, you missed me saying ooh, Canada, and you read it as ooh, Cantonar. Sorry, look, sorry. Switch said sorry. Let's do this right. Let's do this right. Let's do this right. Switch says ooh, Canada. Sorry, Switch. Apologies. I am tired, man. I'm so tired. Look, I want to know your opinions on England yesterday. Let me know. Tell me. I've had to listen to a bunch of garbage today. From TalkSport. I had TalkSport on, and they were basically saying that that England can win the World Cup. England were phenomenal. That's not what I saw, but you know, where is the Neville one? Jesus, man, I haven't done it yet. Bloody hell. No, Scott, I will. I've got to be careful. I've got to be careful on the N word one, because otherwise I could get sued. I will do that one. I will probably do that one tomorrow. I just have not had the time today to do that one, but I will do. Switch says Canada 2-1, I reckon. Hajabi was very impressed with Johan Mazembe from Switzerland. Yeah, no, I tell you what, his two goals today were brilliant. And I tell you what, the Bosnian goal, brilliant goal, by the way. Not the N word, the Neville word, the Gary Neville word. Bloody hell. Honestly, Switch, your mind, honestly, the Gary Neville word. He's the N word. Bloody hell, Switch. Honestly, mate. Honestly, your mind, Nigel. Exactly. Rich is in the house. United TV. Big up JB and big up the chat. Big up to United TV and Rich, absolute legend. If you get an opportunity, go and check out Rich. Go and give him some love. Go and check out United TV. Rich is an absolute ledge. Neville in Paris. We're going to have to find an emoji that can indicate that, as in the Gary Neville stuff, and not anything else. So look, this game is about to kick off, and yeah, just need to. Where are we? Here we go. Here we go. Canada versus Qatar. This is the best place to watch it. Of course, it is with me, JB, and this amazing community. As Jay says, I have a good day today. Went to watch my son at his sports day, says Jay. It says, I did miss one. Jab says, just got back from a holiday in Mauritius. Travel was long. I'm shattered. Well worth the journey though. What an island. Jabs, absolute quality, mate. I would love to go one day. Hopefully, I will get the opportunity to go. But look, I bet you are so tired. So look, just kick back, get in with this amazing community, get involved. If you fall asleep, Jabs, I won't take offence. So you're all good. You're all good. You're all good. But look, I really hope you enjoyed yourself. But let me go back down to so Jay says I had a good day today. I went to my son's sports day. Legend. I've got my kids' sports day next week, I think. Um, I don't know what the sports days are like for you, Jay, but the sports days at my kids' schools are about everybody wins. Um, it's all about everybody has a medal, which I don't mind. I don't mind that, but it's always a bit like everybody wins. There's no competition, which is okay, but life is a competition at times. So um, you know, so I've got my sports day. Well, not my sports day. I've got my daughter's sports day um next week as well. But look, hope your I hope your son enjoyed himself, and it was quite warm today. It was quite muggy today. So look, we are going to get into it. So it is a bit of a good start as well. Bit of a good start to the game. Nice quick start. So look, guys, if you want to get into that, do your kids um well, my daughter does. Well, my youngest does. So she's 6. She is fast as anything. So she wins her ones. Um, my middle child is pretty good. My eldest is yeah. She's not a sports person. She's not a sports person. Sky says, switcheroo. Do you have the Uruguayan kit on order? I'm off now for my hydration break, says Paul Swansea Villa. Mate, Paul Swansea Villa, absolute legend of this channel. I hope you're doing extremely well, Paul, as well, my friend. Welcome to the chat. As always, you got the legends in here, as you always have done, as you always do. So look, please get in there with your. I want to know. Tell me about your memories of your first World Cups. I want to know when you think about a World Cup, what's the very first team you think about when you're thinking about the World Cup? Who is your first team that you think about? Um, you Switch says JB score predictions. I think Canada will win. I think Canada will win like 3-1. I do. I think Canada will win 3-1. I think David gets 1. I think Larin gets 2. There you go. Not bad, not bad, not bad at all. So whenever I think about a World Cup, the first team I always think about, and the first people, the first person, the first team, I always think about Brazil. I think for me, Brazil are the team I always think about in the World Cup. They're always like the first team. Um, Jonathan David or Promise David. It's Jonathan David. Yeah, I think that's him, innit? Yeah, the one that plays for Juventus. The one that we should have bought or got for free. Paul says Hoddle and Waddle. I always think about Zidane. To be fair, that's penalty. Ooh, no, that's a penalty, innit? Go on. Unlucky from Is Tonali going to Spurs now? I did not anticipate that, says Scambusters. Well, Scambusters, I'll give you. I'll look. David Ornstein. So David Ornstein said I have done a short on it. It is quite funny. It is quite funny. But he basically said to quote Fabrizio Romano, he did say it is concrete. It is concrete. Tonali wants Spurs. It is concrete. Yes, it is concrete. That was awful. He basically said that it is concrete. And that basically Spurs are pushing for Tonali. Um, I didn't see that coming. I don't know what anybody else thinks on that one. I did not see Tonali. So look, has it been confirmed? No. Does Tonali want to go to Spurs? Yes, he does. Are Spurs pushing the deal? Yes, they are. Is there a very significant chance that Tonali can go to Spurs? And the answer is yes. Um, but but the big but here is big buts. They cannot lie. Is if you look at what Liverpool did with Munoz. Newcastle had the deal done. Sky says, thank you for my emoji. No, no, Sky, absolute pleasure. Is that Liverpool? So Newcastle basically had the deal done, and Liverpool came in and stole the player. So does it mean that to not look? If you know what happened with Eze, Eze was going to go to Spurs, then Arsenal came in and took Eze. So could you have a same situation again where Spurs are about to do the deal and then it forces Man City? It forces Arsenal into action. On this occasion, I don't think Arsenal will get in there. I would say to Spurs or Spurs fans, watch out for a Man City. I think Man City could possibly look to snatch the deal. It looks like terms have been agreed, JB. Yeah. And again, look, it is terms have been agreed, Scambusters. Terms have been agreed. Tonali wants to go. Spurs are in official chats. Spurs are in. Spurs are in. Oh, shocked. Spurs are in official negotiations with the Geordies as well. So look, they are looking to push this deal. I don't think they're gonna mess around as such. Like I think it's going to be 85 plus 15. It could involve a cheap player as well. So I think Spurs are gonna unbelievably go and get Tonali. It boggles the mind, and we're sitting on our butts talking about Sander Berge. Spurs are going out there after Tonali, and we're sat around talking about Sander Berge. It is ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy. And we're looking at these really awful deals, and it's just upsetting, isn't it? I mean, it's just upsetting. So look, not to scare people as well. Look, I'll just come into it as well. Look, that was a really really good shot as well there from Canada, from David. So look, Canada have come to play. So I think this could be a very very close game. Kojo says, JB, what happened to Kone Leon? What's the plan for Oroshko? I will come on to that as well. Arsenal want Barcola now. Hilarious that Newcastle lost another target to a Prem rival. They're hopeless. Glad United won't sanction a second loan for Rashford to Barca. Oh, look, you're raising some fantastic points, and we will get into that as well. So look, Canada are moving this ball around. Look, they are on top, but don't count Qatar out. So it only takes one opportunity that they are attacking the Canadian goal. Is that a free kick? Yes, it is. So look, Jay, you're right. It is an absolute disgrace. So there's a yellow card, a first yellow card. We have seen some send-ins off as well at the World Cup as well. So there's the first yellow of the game. Look, Jay, Spurs show more ambition. Jay, it is an utter disgrace Spurs finished 15th last season, and this is what we've been saying, Jay, on this channel, and I'm going to keep banging on about it. I know it's boring. The money doesn't lie. The Q3 results don't lie. The debt doesn't lie. Spurs are showing ambition. It is refreshing in some respects. Spurs are looking to get Tonali. That's more ambition than us. We're still quibbling over the hammers. Look, get Matthias Fernandes or leave the deal and go and get Sander Berge. Look, we will deal with it. We would and yeah, look, switch. Don't get switch. Don't believe that. Do not no. Do not believe that. The reason why we're not getting Tonali, and please don't be fooled. The reason why we're not going to get Tonali is because we can't afford it. Is because look, and again, look, I can just tell you what I've been told. We have a plan, and the plan is not based. The plan is partly based on players, and the plan is partly based on an amount of money that we can spend per position. So we've got an amount of money that we can spend, but it's based on position. It's got nothing to do with Spurs having more pull. It's to do with the fact that we've not even entered that race. If we did, I'm sorry, would he still go to Spurs? No, 100% no. Code just says what happened to Kone. So look, Kone got injured. So this is what's happening. Kone got injured, had a really bad head injury, was out. He came back. He went to Lausanne in Switzerland, and that's a Ineos owned club. He got injured again. So he got injured. He's come back. Look, Kone has been injured twice. So he's going to go out on loan again. And this is his last chance. If Kone doesn't break through this, if he doesn't break through when he comes back, so he'll be given two more seasons. If he goes on loan and he does well and he comes back, he'll be given a chance. If he doesn't, he will be sold. Leon is different. Look, Leon is a big difference between playing under 18s, 21s. Leon is not ready. Leon needs a good loan. What Leon needs, for me, in my view, is he needs a championship loan. He needs to go and do what an Amas did. Now, Orozco. Look, Orozco, the plan is for Orozco to come in and go to the under 21s. He is Orozco. And again, fans, I think, need to quell their expectations. I think fans need to be realistic on what to expect from these players. The chances are Kone is not going to work out. The chances are Leon probably won't, but I think he's probably got a better chance on the basis that he's not injured. Orozco, we don't know. Orozco could be fantastic. Orozco is an unknown player. He didn't really play for his Colombian side. He hasn't really played for Colombia either. So look, these are just players to watch. These are players to watch. Switch, yeah, yeah, it is ridiculous. Enzo to Madrid. Scott, I think if Enzo goes to Madrid, it's going to be really interesting with the Tchouaméni deal. Now, on this channel, for context, look, I've never said that the Tonali deal is not going to happen. The things I've said on this channel is this. I don't think Anderson was never going to come to this club. Tonali was too expensive. Canada, that's a great tackle by Qatar. Tonali was never going to come, too expensive. Anderson was not going to come because he's too expensive. Tchouaméni, it's not about necessarily the money side. I think that United would look to do some sort of deal there. The problem is Real Madrid and Tchouaméni close this down. Now, for channels who have basically said that Tchouaméni deal is on, it is a load of nonsense. As of right here and now, the Tchouaméni deal is not on. So if the bigger channels, and you know who I'm talking about, will claim that, oh, they predicted it, they got told it is total crap. it is total crap. As of here and now, 2 and Maney isn't on. Could it be on? As Scott says there, if Enzo goes to Real Madrid, then I think that you could be talking Valverde going. You could be talking to Maney going as well. Scam says Spurs look like they have no qualms about paying the Magpies 80 to 90. Exactly that. What are United playing at? It's like we're playing a Monopoly, says Philip. It is embarrassing. It is embarrassing what this club will do to save some money. I don't think that's for sure. Would rather Bruno G over Tonali. Scott says finishing 17th 2 seasons in a row. Agree with you. Tonali is not an £80 million player. I like the Qatar kit as well. Actually, I do. I really do like that Qatar kit as well. Actually, it is a very nice kit. Indeed, it is. So look, Canada have a corner. Canada have a corner on this right hand side. Get that in there. Goal. No. JB, who is your dark horse for this World Cup? Mine are Norway and Japan. Who are my dark horses for the tournament? I think USA. Don't sleep on it, because I think when you're home, and I'm not suggesting for a second that they can win it. I think they've got home advantage. I like, who else do I like? Norway, I do like them. Japan as well, like you've got a point. I think Japan are a very good side. You look at South Korea, as well. I think South Korea, they remind me of South Korea when South Korea used to be really good. Goal. Larin, goal. Larin. Right, so I said 3-1. So Larin 2, David 1. So I've said 3-1. I have said 3-1. So but yeah, I think dark horses for me, I think will be somebody like I think Japan. I like them as an organized squad. I also like Norway as well. Yeah, I like that. But also as well, I'm going to say America, because they're going to have all of the advantages. They're home. And actually, America's side is not terrible. It's not great, but it's not super awful. So I fancy America to go quite deep into the tournament as well. So Canada won. Larin. I think I've done the yeah. So we've got Qatar. One card for Canada and 1 goal. Philip says they've gone. No, Philip's retracted his message. He has retracted the message. But look, guys, get in there with your chat. This is a United fan channel with me, JB, and the amazing community. Canada are on the brink again. This is going to be, Qatar are having an absolute miserable time. Right. Let's see what they're going to do. So the other thing I wanted to say is this as well. The latest talk. So look, Canada. Let's see what they can do with this. No, they've cleared their lines. That's back now with Canada again on the high press. So this is the other thing that I've heard that really has annoyed me. I'm just going to do it automatically. Um, Here we go. Right. So what I've seen, and this reminds me of last summer, by the way, when David Ornstein basically said, so David Ornstein's words, and we all know that David Ornstein is the mouthpiece of this club. We all know he is the mouthpiece of this club. Now, what has been indicated and said today that's going through the media today? Um, Philip says they go on about best in class. They certainly don't show best in class when it comes to negotiation. Says Philip. Agreed with you. They couldn't negotiate with a baby. They've got zero chance of that. So what I'm hearing today and what I've heard today is this BS that United are only looking to do a left wing player. They're not going to do a left back. And if they don't do a left back, they'll do the left back next summer. Are you joking me? United are having it put out there that they're not going to sign a left back this season and they're going to look to sign a left back the very next season. Are you joking me? So we're looking to sign a left winger. We're probably not going to do both. I want you to let that sink in to your head. How is Luke Shaw next season going to play Champions League, the league? Look, Luke Shaw is not going to get better next season. He's going to get worse. He's a year older, a season older. Can you imagine Luke Shaw? If we get Madrid, Barcelona, if we get any team with a bit of pace in that Champions League, are this club really saying that we're going to have Luke Shaw? Who's going to cover the Luke Shaw position when Luke Shaw will get injured next season? Who's going to cover that position? Amas. Amas is currently injured and he's only 19 years old. Is Mazraoui is Mazraoui going to play on the left or right? I don't understand what this club is doing, and this is why we keep saying on this channel we're not going to get Lewis Hall when other fudging channels, and it frustrates me. Look, I am coming to the point now on this channel where I want to debate other channels, and I'm talking about the biggest channels. I want to get them on my channels, and I want to understand how they can put this ludicrous nonsense out there about Lewis Hall signing for 55, 60 million quid. Look, and look, I'm not talking about every single channel. What I'm talking about here is I'm talking about the biggest channels who put out there to the fan base, who truly believe that we're gonna get Lewis Hall. Look, Newcastle are not stupid. They know his value. If Tonali goes, they don't need the money. Look, if Lewis Hall is unhappy and he looks to push a move, then fine. Then maybe at that point. But United have already put out there today in the media that we're probably not going to do a left back and we're going to push it to the next season. It's just it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Are we going to have another season of Luke Shaw? Like I'm convinced. I'm pretty much 100% convinced that Luke Shaw's going to get a new contract. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that Luke Shaw is going to get another contract. It will be disgusting. It will be absolutely a business. So I just want you to let that sink in. That the news is that we may not be getting a left back, but we'll get one next season. Ludicrous, absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. Philip says, what you can't rely on Luke Shaw all season, especially with the more games. Exactly. Jay said there is no way at a team like us we have a left back of Luke Shaw, right back of Dallo is crazy. I agree with you, Jay. Agree with you. The streams I watch Lewis Hall's seems impossibility now. And exactly, Nikki T. Look, we've said this on this channel. And I agree with you, Nikki. Somerville, I don't want him. I don't want him. Look, you know, people are going to be waxing on about Somerville. Somerville, in my opinion, is going to end up being like one of those typical World Cup signings. Cons is in the house. France, of course, France have a very good team, a team full of stars. Look, it is. I don't want Somerville for 50 million, but I don't understand another left winger that we can go for. I don't understand another left winger. Ben Jacobs said we are getting a left wing or a left back. Nikki, I sort of heard some stuff as well. I did catch up with my very good friend, and over the next couple of days I will be letting you guys know. um yes, it's good. The left wing, from what I've been told, from what I've heard, is going to be the priority. The left winger, the left back should be the one. Luke Shaw is not good enough. But look, what do we know? I'd rather we keep Rashford than waste 50 million on Somerville. Says Jay. Interesting. Like, and again, like I don't necessarily agree, but I'm not disagreeing. I'm basically on the fence. And the reason why, Nikki and Jay, I'm on the fence, is because look, this club is going to do it. Whatever happens, this club doesn't learn. Um, my only Nikki and Jay, my only comment on this will be, if you're saying we keep Marcus Rashford, which I'm not saying is the worst idea, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. You've then got to accept that Marcus Rashford is going to leave on a free. So you are then going to have to accept that Marcus Rashford is going to leave on a free. At 31, he's got another 2 years left on his contract. Are you happy? And would you accept Marcus Rashford leaving on a free? Um, I'm not sure I'm comfortable. I'm not sure, but look, I will come on to that as well. They're still saying that too many. Look, Natasha, I will go through that. I will. Luke Shaw has been at United so long that he has seen nine. Not he's seen nine different managers, just saying he should have been moved on. I agree with you. My streams are not sure if too many is available. So look, Nikki, etc. I can tell. Look, I can tell you what I've been told. This is exactly what I've been told. Now look, the reason why you should listen to this channel is because we've been right on so many different things. Now I can tell you the direct stuff that I've been told on Tu Ameni is this: United like Tu Ameni. They really like the player. They see him as an ideal replacement for Casemiro if he became available. So let's just say they signed Fernandes and then Tu Ameni become available. They would see it as an opportunity too good to turn down. Okay, they would see that as an opportunity that they could not turn that down. Now the problem with that, if they went to do that deal, then you are basically talking basically one more player after that, one more cheap deal. Robert is in the house. I hope you're doing extremely well. Now the caveat to this whole deal is people assume that Tu Ameni is going to be 70 million pounds. If Real Madrid are going to spend 100 million on Enzo, because he is going to go in and around that price, Real Madrid are going to have to recoup some of the money. Tu Ameni is not going to be cheap, and he's going to be on 300k a week. He's going to be on between 250 and 300k a week. I don't know. Even if two mainly become available, would United do that deal? And that is the ultimate question here. Now, look, do I think? Oh, goal! So Canada has scored again. 2-0, 2-0 to Canada. Let me update the scoreline. 2-0 to Jonathan David. So far, 2-0. I've said Lauren's going to get 2. Jonathan David is going to get 1. So look, all I'm going to say is this: on to Amani. Whatever other channels are saying right now, I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. But what I'm telling you right here and now, we are not negotiating with Madrid for 2 Amani. So if there are any channels out there telling you that the deal has been done and we are negotiating with Real Madrid, it is not true. If channels are saying to you, look, that we like and there's a chance of getting to Amani, then yes. But those are 2 different things. So as it stands, to Amani, we are not negotiating with Real Madrid on this deal because they're not going to negotiate until they've got a player in. So for any channel that is telling you that the deal is being done is basically lying, because it is not being done as we speak. Are we talking to the player? Yes. Have we registered our interest? Yes, we have. Is there a possibility that we could sign him? 100%. But as of here and now, and Natasha, the reason why, as we've spoken about this many times, is the reason why they say that this deal is done is because they're lying, Natasha. It is spin and lie. Any channel that is telling you the deal is done. And look, and I'm not talking about the thumbnails. I'm not talking about the titles. No, people saying with a question mark the deal has been done. Look, I get it. I get it. People have to get you in to watch the channel. I get that. I'm not talking about that. But what I am saying is here, anybody that is saying, physically saying this deal is done, it really isn't done. But look, it doesn't mean to say, I would say it's probably closer. So Jay says we've got more of a chance of signing Camavinga. I would agree with Jay as well. So Canada have scored 2-0 to Canada. Looking very comfortable. Really easy game, and it's actually quite a nice game to watch. Penalty. It's got to be a penalty. Penalty. Oh, it's going to be a red card as well, isn't it? Ooh. I promise you, I will jump back on in a second. Penalty to Canada. So Lauren has to take it, and then they can then stop playing, and then Qatar just have to score, and then we're all good. And then we're all good. So look, let's just see what they do with the penalty, and then I will get back into your chats as well. Here we go. Come on, and I will get into your chats as well. Niche fan is saying that Madrid are getting at least say for 220, and we're talking to Sander effing Berg. I know, Niche. I know. Look, and Niche. Look again, Niche. We spoke about Sander Berg on this channel. I do set some traps on this channel. I do set a couple of traps on this channel. I was talking about Sander Berg. I didn't want to be lynched. That's why I was talking about Sander Berg on this channel. Red card. Red card. Red card. Tell you what, this game's going to end up being no penalty, red card. This game is going to end up being a football cricket score, I think. Cricket score. So let me get some back onto your chats as well. I hope I haven't missed any. Apologies if I have. Natasha says, why are they saying Lewis Hall, Alex Scott and Bacola to United? Natasha, for the same reasons. They need to kick Rashford out of the club. He has done nothing but disrespect the club. Showed a bad example to the academy. He's been nothing but a yeah. And we've had enough of them in the team, says Robert. Now look, Marcus Rashford, as Robert has brought it up, I think it's only right that we talk about it. So look, let me give you my position, Robert, on a Marcus Rashford. So my personal position on it is I don't want Marcus Rashford to come back. Now, the reason why I don't want Marcus Rashford to come back is nothing to do with the person. Now, I've had to ban somebody today. And the reason, and to be quite clear, the reason why I banned them from the channel had nothing to do with having a different opinion to me. It was one of those opinions that was basically trying to throw the kitchen sink in terms of, they were using ethnicity. They were using how United fans have suddenly disrespected him, how United fans have forced Rashford out of the club, how it is all United's fault and not Marcus Rashford's fault. Now, I'm not going to talk about the person. I don't want Marcus Rashford back because I don't want the Marcus Rashford show. I'm done with it. Amarin did the correct thing, and I've got to say this for Rashford. To be completely fair to Rashford, one of the things that I respect about him is that he's gone and got his move. He went and got his move to a Barcelona. He moved from the club. He went to Aston Villa. So he's not just sat around like a Sancho. I respect that. But in my view, I think Robert is right. He's disrespected the fans, and I understand the both sides, that fans want him, some fans don't, some fans feel disrespected, some fans like a Marcus Rashford. I sit somewhere in the middle. I'm not sitting on the fence. I just got no time for the personal stuff. My position on it is that I don't want him back for footballing reasons. The last year that he was here, he didn't want to be here. As Robert says there, I'll give you an example. Sometimes you've got to be careful about the things that you do and say. Marcus Rashford, when he got into the England squad, look, he didn't thank the United fans, and people have said this. They've said, well, the United fans, but there are United fans who have proved on this channel that they love Marcus Rashford. The fans of this club haven't suddenly stopped disliking the player because he's moved. There is no doubt he gets Instagram, he gets all sorts of messages. United fans love him, and what did he do? He put an ill-timed post, and I think even if he didn't thank the club, he should always thank the fans. So look, I think Rashford, for me, he doesn't want to come back. And additionally, what I wanted to say, many of you guys on here, and I'm not saying the people on here, but I get comments about how people only want players you want to play for the club. I get that as well. Then that's fine. But Marcus Rashford doesn't want to come to the club. He wants to go to Barcelona. Barcelona now are still trying to sign the player, and we can talk about that as well. So look, I don't want Rashford. It's nothing to do with the person. Whether I've got my own opinions on Rashford as a person, which I do not need to give. Good save. From a footballing perspective, I do not want him back. So that is where I'm at on it. So Jay says we got more of a chance of signing Camavinga. I don't think we're talking to anyone else apart from Fernandez, West Ham, because we only do one deal at a time. Philip, exactly that. Belaber says Natasha better than last night. Yeah. Penalty says Nicky. No, it was a free kick. Red card, free kick, done that one. Fans on Rich's stream earlier, happy with Bird, says Nicky. And look, I've got a lot of time for Rich. Rich is going to have his opinions, and I'm not saying that that's Rich's opinion. You're going to have, look, the best thing for me, Nicky, about this community, Rich's community, other communities, is that everybody's all going to have their different views and opinions, right? I get that. That's the one thing that I do love about this, right? Is you get different opinions. If somebody likes a Sander Berge, and he ends up being good, then feel free to come on here and tell me. But the thing with me is this: is that look, you've got Spurs going for Tonali, and nobody can tell me. And again, it doesn't matter if you're on Rich's stream, my stream, anybody's stream. Nobody can tell me that Sander Berge is better than Tonali. Nobody can tell me that Sander Berge. Look, the thing that we'll do as a fan base is we'll sign a Sander Berge, and it'll be, oh, Sander Berge, yeah, he's a great signing. What a great signing. 28, we don't need an Anderson. It's just not the player that we need, and we're supposed to be in the Champions League. You don't look. How can we talk about winning a league and going to sign Sander Bloody Berg? Like, you don't win a league with Sander Berg. You don't win a league with a midfield of Baleba, Sander Berg. You just don't do it. It's just not going to happen, because guess what? If you did, they would be in league winning sides. Like, this is what I think sometimes confuses people, is this: if Sander Berge, if Baleba were that good, they wouldn't be there. This is what you know about us. We don't go and we don't get elite players. We used to. We used to overpay, but right now we don't do that. If Sander Berge was a world-class player or an elite player, he wouldn't be there. The reason why, and this is no disrespect to a Fulham, this is no disrespect to a Brighton, there's a reason why they're there. There's a reason why they're there. So look, and again, look, I absolutely respect Rich's stream. Nothing bad to say about anybody that's on that stream, and people are entitled. But if you're telling me that we would go and get a Fernandes, we'd go and get a Tuameni and a Sander Berge, yeah, fine. I've got no issue with that at all. Got no issue. My issue is if Sander Berge is the main player along with Baleba. Crazy times. David Ornstein now saying that Spurs are also interested in Matthias Fernandes, separate to the Tonali deal. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. This is why we need to stop effing around and just go and get this deal done. We just need to go and get this deal done. But look, Fernandes is not stupid. Look, Tonali might be stupid. Tonali might have banged his head, but Fernandes is not stupid. He's not going to go to Spurs. I'm sorry, Fernandes is not going to go to Spurs. Any outgoings yet, Paddy? So look, we have started working on Xerxes Ugarte. Are we doing those deals yet? No, because we do one deal at a time. But we have been talking about Xerxes. Do I think Xerxes will stay, Paddy? No. We've been talking to Roma. Now, of course, there is always a chance. There is always a chance. But I know United, these, again, I can only tell you guys what I've been told by a very, very good person. They're working on a Xerxes deal. They're doing the preliminary work on a Xerxes deal. Ugarte is at a World Cup. Do not forget that. But Ugarte, if Ugarte has a World Cup, like AC Milan are interested in the player as well. So look, that could happen. So look, Xerxes, I think, will leave. I think that Ugarte will leave. But there is a caveat to Ugarte leaving. We've got to sign another 2 midfield players. Who else? I think there could be a surprise one. Nicky T, look, Xerxes, look, does Xerxes look there is an opportunity. There is a chance that Xerxes may not leave, but it does depend. Xerxes maybe surplus to requirements. I know United are talking to Roma on a Xerxes deal. Look, Xerxes, it's done. It's done. I do not expect him to stay. But again, look again until the deal is done, and I can only tell you what I've been told. No disrespect, thank you, Rashford, but time to go. We are not a one-man team. I put the club first. I want us back winning and competing for trophies. I have a Met tactical. I haven't met tactical devils yet. You are probs like them. They are our age and no rich. Yeah, I've not met them. No, I've not met them yet. I've not at all. Um, no, oof. I haven't met them yet. Nikki T. I think we should spend all of our money in the midfield as it wins or loses games. I think Nikki, I wouldn't be adverse to that, Nikki. Um, I think we do need the midfield, and I also think we need a striker. I think it's imperative. I think it's imperative. We can't go into the Champions League. We can't go into a league campaign and have one striker. It will be ridiculous. We're just as bad at selling players as buying players. Yes, we are. No way Amarin buys Ugarte. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if Amarin goes and buys? Did you hear that Gobridge mentioned your channel on this evening on his stream? Nope. Nope. Paddy, I can't say I did. Paddy, I doubt that, mate. Mate, I look. I doubt that. I doubt that very, very much. Um, that's funny, Paddy. I'm sure. Look, even look, Paddy. I don't think that's true, Paddy. I don't think that's true. But even if he did, which I don't think he did. Um, even if he did, I'm sure it was in a negative way. So, and I don't care. Because you know, because Goldbridge, it is what it is, really. Uh, mm. Goldbridge is never going to mention me. It was my mate that told me. He's he's never going to mention me, mate. Oof, unlucky, 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 unlucky. Um, yeah, he's never going to mention me, mate. Um, this is Canada. Oof, Canada comfortable. Canada are comfortable. Hmm. Canada are comfortable. What time was the stream? Someone's going to have to check it out. Canada score again. Who scored this time? Jonathan David. Oh, Jonathan David. Come on, mate. Jonathan David. Bloody hell. Great goal. Great goal. I mean, I said 3-1, but I said Larin would score 2 and David, he'd score 1. Ah, for God's sake. Bloody hell. Come on, Jonathan David. You were supposed to score 1. Bloody hell. Come on now. Come on now. It would be hilarious. Hilarious. 6-0. Come on. I do feel sorry for Qatar, to be honest with you. I do. I do feel very, very sorry for Qatar. Mm, that's a great header. Oof. Unlucky, unlucky, unlucky. So look, guys. Look, I want to know about your how do you think how do you think the season is going to pan out? Look, we've got the World Cup. We all love the World Cup. I am looking forward to more to the later stages of the World Cup. But I don't know how do you think this is going to impact our season? That's what you want as manager when you play two up front. They both score. I remember the days, Jay, of Jesus. Brian McClare, Mark Hughes, Jesus, Andy Cole, Dwight York, Sheringham, um, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, those were the days. I used to love playing two strikers up front. I'm a big fan of that. Oof. York and Cole for me. That season, I would say when we had um, the only other obviously other than Law, Best, and Charlton and those sorts of players. Um, the season we had York, Rooney, York, Cole, Ollie, and Sheringham. What a front four, right? The only other time I would compare where I think we probably had equal or better than that was Tevez, Ronaldo, and Rooney. Tevez, obviously, you know, but yeah. Um, Used to play two up front. Philip says all depends on who we bring in, but I'm with you. We need another striker. Remember, we have four now. York, Cole and Dwight York. Oh, I mean, York and Cole were brilliant. Absolute quality. Look, if we sign four, look, we need players. I think what I don't want this club to do is once we've got once we've signed, if we sign Matthias Fernandez, if we sign a two and Maney, um, then I don't mind if we then go for a Sander Berge. I don't mind if we go for a Singare. If we then go and sign a left back, I think we need to go and get a left back. Luke Shaw needs cover. Um, I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, the thing is though, it's hilarious that Paddy that the amount of things that we've got right on this channel. It is unbelievable. And like the funny thing is with him is that he puts everybody down because he can't stand it. The guy's a egotistical idiot. Like the guy can't stand it. Like if you go back, Paddy, if you go back, right, and you watch the channel and Amarin, right, when Amarin was sacked, we literally predicted it after the game. We've predicted some menu. We've told you about some menu. We've told you that we're not going to sign any players in the window. We said about some menu. Anderson, we've been told about that for a long time. We've done the Q3 results on this channel. We've spoken about the increase in debt on this channel. We don't bother with this hot or not crap. We don't bother with the David Brent style of clickbait thumbnails. The channel is about clickbait. We don't need to do that. The guy doesn't even understand the numbers. He can't talk about numbers. He can't talk about what's actually there. So look, he can say what he wants, but the best thing about doing this is that the evidence is there. And we've been right time and time and time again. So he can't stand it. He can't stand it. He cannot stand anybody being right. He can't stand anybody knowing anything more than him, which is not difficult to do. To be fair, it really isn't. He talks out of his backside, and he's basically sold out his channel. So you know. I've been waiting all my life to watch Canada play Qatar. Oh, look! I mean, Qatar are a wonderful team. This is a debate for the ages. Um, I just made the whole story up. Paddy, look, Paddy. Paddy. I think I knew that, Paddy. So you know. Um, Danny says, "Hello, JB." That Paddy, mate. Obviously, my friend. JB, what do you think about OB next season? Look, what do I think of OB next season? He's too young. He's too young, Jay. Look, this is what I want, right? That I want to play for every position. But Paddy, I had a sneaky suspicion, Paddy, that you weren't going to tell the truth. But everything I said still stands. Everything that I said is absolutely true and still stands. And and I stand by it. I stand by it. Cheeto Obi, what do I think of Cheeto Obi? Look, BNBN says, not a United fan, came here by doom scrolling. However, great N64 and PS1. You are so lucky with Mazraoui. The Maz is key to your defense, guys. BNBN, welcome to the channel, my friend. A doom scroll. Who doesn't love a doom scroll? Who doesn't love it? Look, you've got a doom scroll, and look, thanks to you, you have doom scrolled your way onto the best fan community channel on the platform. You're welcome. You are welcome. Your phone clearly knows. Your phone knows quality. Your phone knows where to go. So look, thank you for being here. Welcome to the channel, and also as well. Look, we're not one of those channels. Just because you don't support our club doesn't mean you're not here. You are welcome to join. So BNBN, legend. Paddy says OB is not ready, so Xerxes get a decent second striker. I agree with Paddy Mac. I think Paddy Mac is spot on. I think Xerxes needs to go. Somebody needs to tell Xerxes that he's like 6'3". Somebody needs to have a word with Xerxes and basically tell him that he's giant. It's not that he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's a lump. The guy is a lump. Somebody needs to tell him that he can use his body. I know it's a non-contact sport now, but he can still use his body. The guy's massive. Like, mate, you should be better than what you are. Like he is, for me, Xerxes Paddy is Serie A written all over him. He's slow. He's got fantastic feet, but he definitely needs to play in a league that slows it down. He's patient, and I think Xerxes will go to either AC Milan or Roma. I know that we're talking to one of those as well. When he first came here, I liked him, silky and loved a nutmeg. Says Paddy, yeah, look, he's not a bad player. He's not a bad player. It's like, Paddy, sometimes we can get a player in, right, and it doesn't work out right. And that's fine. Steve Harrington in the chat, absolute legend. Steve, legend. Looking forward to playing United next season from a Coventry fan like Steve, mate. Legend of the channel, buddy. Coventry versus United next season. Absolutely brilliant, Steve. I cannot wait. And I know people will think I'm sad, right? I am quite sad, but Coventry United for me. Now, I remember Coventry from back in the day. So when I used to do the sticker books, right? And you used to get the shinies. There was something about the Coventry shiny badge that was just brilliant. I loved Coventry back in the day. The old was it Peugeot? The Peugeot kit. I think it was Peugeot. Um, a Gruzovic in goal. A Gruzovic was the most handsome man that you could ever meet. Absolutely fantastic keeper. Um, Dublin up front, yes. Danny, you just taken the words out of my mouth. Dublin, Peter Unlove up front. I mean, brilliant. I mean, brilliant. I'm so pleased for Coventry. I can't wait. I can't wait to play them. Absolute classic Premier League team. Brilliant, brilliant. Uh, Berbatov was a great striker. Very underrated and actually quite quick as well. People don't seem to realise how quick he actually was. He was very quick. Very quick player indeed. Nick T says we used to get Newcastle supporters chatted in our streams, but they have disappeared. I wonder why. I'm sure they'll be back. They'll be back. They'll be back next season. Just like Memphis Depay, great player, just didn't make it. And Philip, you're right. Memphis Depay, for me, was one of those players that should have worked. Like, on paper, fantastic sign. I don't even think he was super expensive either. Just he seemed like a good deal. Glendon is in the house. Give it up for Glendon all the way from Jamaica. Absolute legend, Glendon, and I hope you're doing extremely well. Agree with you. Look, there have been so many players that just haven't worked out. And it's okay. You know, I don't mind players that don't work out. You know, you've got like your Mkhitaryan's. I don't think Mkhitaryan really worked out. You've got your Mkhitaryan's, your Kagawas. He started off well, and then it just doesn't work. But you've got the opposite of that, where you've got your Sancho's. Just an absolute Sancho is not one that didn't. That was one that didn't work because the player was a complete tool. Sanchez didn't work because the player was a complete tool. Um, we've had a lot of those types of players, like Pogba. I'm not going to class Pogba as one of those players who's a bit of a tool. With Pogba, I think it was just injuries. I don't think helped, and I just think Pogba can't lead. I think the biggest problem with Pogba for me was it wasn't he didn't have talent. It wasn't that I don't think he tried. Um, Pogba's problem was he didn't have anybody in the midfield to lead him. Pogba needed to be led. Pogba, when he was at Juventus, had a Pirlo. He had Pirlo and he had can't think of his name. It began with an M. And he had good Italian, Spanish midfield players. He also had, I think, Bonucci was still around at that time as well. I think Liechtenstein was still around. I think Buffon was still around as well. So he didn't have to. He didn't have to lead. He could just. You know. But then when he came to this club, he was expected to lead, and I think that was his problem. Is that he's nothing about talent, nothing about skill on his day, unplayable player. It's just some players just they've got to be free and they don't want that responsibility to lead. And I think that's what Pogba's issue was. So Jay says Park Jin Si was Park Ji Sung was one of my favourite players. Always played in the big games, never let us down. And Jay, you're right. You know, for every Sancho, you get a Park. I mean, who would have known that Park Ji Sung was going to be? I would put him up there as one of our most impactful and best players. So when I look at players, you've got I would go. You've got your world class players. You've got your legend, and you can overlap. So you can be a legend and a world class player. I think there are a couple of players that we've had have been world class. So world class is top. Second is you've got your legend players. Yeah, legend, your world class players that can overlap. And then underneath that, then you've got your elite players. Then under that, I think you've got your cult heroes, and then you've got your good players. I think for me, I think Park Ji Sung was probably I'd put him at the back end of a, maybe not elite, but I'd put him at a back end of a sort of elite, very very good player. He's definitely not a good player. He was a a very very good player. Definitely a cult hero without a shadow of a doubt. Park was a cult hero. I thought he was absolutely fantastic player and a very very underrated player. So Park was class, underrated player, work so hard, and again, one of those players, right, that didn't moan, didn't whinge when he didn't get his game. He was always ready to play no matter what. You could not play him for 10 games and he would come in, wouldn't whinge, wouldn't moan, wouldn't do anything at all. And he would just get onto that pitch and he would work his butt off. He knew his role. He was one of those players that you just wish that he would guarantee you 7 out of 10 every single game. 7 out of 10 or without fail. And that's such an underrated skill. If we had him now, that midfield would be, you could have him in there now. I think Park Ji Sung, I think for me, was a man out of time. And what I mean is he is the type of player that you want now. He would be he's that player that you could have now, and he would just be fantastic. He loved the goal against Arsenal as well. He was just, I can't explain to people what a wonderful player he was. He was just such a brilliant player. Just you just there are some players that everybody in the world likes, and Park Ji Sung, I think, was one of those players that how can you dislike that player? Look, there are some players that you know that you can't dislike, and he's one of those players. Just a brilliant, brilliant player for me. So look, Qatar have kicked back off again. Canada, Qatar's kicked back off again, and I think that it's going to be a bit of a struggle. I really do. I think that they're going to find this half very, very difficult. Onto this. So Qatar are going to have to defend for their lives in this game, I think. Solskjaer was the same. I agree with you. Solskjaer was again, we used to have, Philip, so many players in this team that would just run through brick walls for the manager, like Ollie. I remember that game, Philip, when obviously you've got the Champions League, the final. That game where against Forest, and I think we won 7-1 or something. And Solskjaer was on the bench. He came off and scored 4 goals. Solskjaer again was just a brilliant, brilliant servant. What a fantastic player. Solskjaer been linked with the Ipswich job. Good to see him back in the Premier League, and good luck to Solskjaer as well. I think, Jay, it will be quite ironic that he's replaced Kieran McKenna. But yeah, fantastic player. We used to have O'Shea. I mean, O'Shea reminds me of that sort of player as well. I remember O'Shea has played in goal for us. O'Shea has been a striker for us. O'Shea's been a defender, a midfielder. Brilliant player. Brilliant, brilliant player as well. So this is with Canada, Kone. Tell you what, so Qatar here are having a difficult time. So David, yeah, he's on a hat trick. He's on a World Cup hat trick, which doesn't come along too much, does it? So look, Qatar or Canada versus Qatar. It they've not really been in it so far. I think Canada have been the best team by far. Unlucky. Um, and what this does mean is that basically um, Qatar, depending on the goal difference, they can still qualify for the next round. It's not the end of the world, but they've got to keep the score down. Um, look, they are effectively out. If this score stays 3-0, then they are effectively out. I don't think they're going to come back and score six or seven goals. So. Mexico versus South Korea will be a good game. Looking forward to that. Will be a brilliant game. That will be an absolute brilliant game. I think you've got two sides who work very very hard, and I agree with you. I think that will be a good game to watch. Uh, those were the days when the manager was in charge, no questions asked, and player power has taken over, says Philip. And look, Philip, I think the reason I think, Philip, is because it's brand, isn't it? Players are brand. Players are in some respects bigger than the club. You know, it's brand, isn't it? The football clubs can't have it both ways, right? You either want to make as much money from the players as you can, or you don't, because those players bring in you lots and lots of money. And I think, Philip, I think you're right. I think those days of the manager, now a coach, are over. I almost think, in some respects, if you look at us as a club, I think that we are run in some respects by Bruno Fernandes. And this is not a dig at him. This is not a dig at him. He can only do what he's got the power to do, right? So Cristiano, if you look at that Portuguese team, Cristiano runs that team. Cristiano, they need a manager in charge. Cristiano runs that team. There is no way in a month of Sundays that Cristiano should be starting for Portugal. He shouldn't be. And that's not, look, I love the player. I adore the player, but he's 41 years old. He's nearly as old as I am. I'm 43, just turned. So he's nearly as old. I mean, how old is Cristiano? Is he like 41 or is he 42? Let me check. Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is 40. He's 41. Oh, we've got a player down. It looks like the player has broken his leg. This doesn't look good. There are scenes on the pitch at the moment. Yeah, it looks like the player has broken his leg. Not good scenes at the moment. If you are watching the game's having to be stopped. It looks like the player has broken his leg. It's not good. Don't I need to? We're not going to see. We're not going to see the tackle. It's not good. Bad one, yeah. Um, Something bad has happened. Yeah, that looks like a nasty one. Look, nobody wants to see that, and look, it does impact players. It's never nice to see another red card. Yeah, it's not good, is it? It is just he was yeah. Kone, Ronaldo shouldn't be starting. I agree. He would do that like he did at United against Spurs, walk down the tunnel. Exactly, and that's not acceptable, is it? It just really isn't acceptable. Look, this is. I feel sorry for the player for Qatar as well. Look, it's clearly something that he didn't mean. It's going to be a red card as well. I should imagine for that red card. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is going to be a red card as well. I just hope the player. I hope the player's not too badly injured. It's it's awful. Um, it's not good. Um, Kone, so Ismail Kone has gone off. It looks like the injury's a bad one. Look, it's all kicking off. It is all kicking off as well. Look, tensions are high. I don't think for a second. I don't think for a second that the player meant to do that. I don't think anybody mean well. Depends on the player. But no, I don't think that that he meant to do that. That wasn't great. Um, Look, the player that's done the challenges, he is beside himself. So yeah, it's awful. But look, hopefully they get the Canadian player off the pitch. They get him really, really quickly. Get him the treatment that he needs. Get him off that pitch. That's a bad injury. I wish all the play the best. Yeah, and Philip, I agree with you. Look, we wish Kone the speediest recoveries of all. Philip, mate, that's a nice thing to say, my friend. It's awful. It's awful. It's horrible, horrible. And you could really see the player is impacted there as well. And look, I know look, the tackle wasn't great. You can see he is beside himself as well. JB, what did you think of Alan Smith? I like Smudger. Do you know what, Jay? I liked him. The worst thing for me that happened to Smudger, and I remember watching the game as well. I liked Alan Smith. I remember when he signed. I was a bit skeptical. I think he signed for 9 million. Was it 8 or 9 million? I think. Um, I thought he was going to be a good player. He just got injured. I think that injury just pretty much destroyed him for us. But I'm glad he came back. I'm glad he scored a goal. But yeah, it was awful. Speedy recovery. Coney says red. Yes, 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 yes. If Ronaldo starts, he gets maximum 60 minutes and 30 as a sub. That's being yeah. I agree with you, Red. But we know that Cristiano won't accept that. Um, Look, Red. I think you make a good point. Look, if I'm Martinez, if I'm the coach of Portugal, I say to Cristiano, look, you are a legend in this country. That's never going to change. You've done things for this country, this international team that nobody's done, that nobody will probably ever hit again. But do you think you playing is going to hinder the team? And I genuinely would never have believed that Cristiano would be playing if he thought that there'd be better players ahead of him. Ronaldo can't believe, surely he can't believe that he's still the best player. He can't do. I mean, look, I know the guy is elite. He's 41 years old. He's got to um look. He's not. The 2 or 3 years between 37, 38 years old. It's a difference. It is a massive difference, and I think Cristiano I think he should be dropped. Ronaldo robbed Bruno and Portugal of a goal yesterday. Very selfish, and it's sad to see. It's almost a bit like Danny for me. It's almost a bit like when you've got a boxer and the boxer refuses to retire, or the boxer refuses to to know when it's when it's the end. Um and look, I'm not saying that Cristiano can't break the goal record. He wants to do it, but he literally is going to end up playing for some backwater Romanian team. He's going to end up playing some sort of backwater League 12 team, and it's not how I want to see him. I just don't want to see him. I just don't want to see him go out in those terms. Messi. If you look at a Lionel Messi, look, he's younger, but the difference is night and day because he is that bit younger, and also as well, Messi. Messi's a different player in terms of like Messi doesn't rely on athleticism alone. Don't get me wrong, Lionel Messi is absolutely fit as a fiddle. You don't get to where he has, but Lionel Messi, you can see that Lionel Messi is more of a team player, and they've built the team around Lionel Messi. But Messi doesn't rely on athleticism. Messi relies on a gift, and I think that's a bit different because when you rely on both physicality and God-given talent, when one goes, you can rely back on that gift. Whereas Cristiano, I'm not saying that he's not good at football, and I'm not saying that he hasn't got a gift, but he's just because that athleticism is now, or it looks like he's going. He doesn't have that Lionel Messi, that God-given gift. So I think Cristiano, I hope it look. He could come back. He could come back, says Jay, and he could come back and he could score like a hat trick, and I would support it. I'm not saying that he's definitely done. All I'm saying is, from what we saw, I think it is the start, and it could be the beginning of the sort of end. But look, Jay, Portugal is Uzbekistan. He could bag a few goals there. Exactly. So look, I am rooting for Cristiano. I want him to score some goals, but if he doesn't score against Uzbekistan and he has a poor game, then he's got to go. Um, so look, Canada, if you have just joined, this is going to be a lengthy game because you've got to add on the hydration breaks, and the Canada player Kone's got a really bad injury. He looks like I don't really want to say it, but looks like he's broken his leg, so that's not good to see. The reaction by the players as well weren't good. So look, a speedy recovery to him as well. Philip says that yeah, they were looking for Cristiano all the time when they should be playing as a team. And Philip, and that's the thing, isn't it? As well, is when you play as a team, I don't know why there's a big difference, right? If you look at the way if you look at the way that Danny, see you later, buddy. If you look at the way that Argentina play, and you look at the way that Portugal play, Portugal are about giving it to Cristiano at the detriment of the team. Argentina are looking to give it to Messi for a successful team. Uh, So Red says, agreed, Messi has a different skill set and can play deeper role for far longer in his career. When Messi gets to Ronaldo's age, he can just slot into a role further back in the pitch. Exactly like Iniesta. Yeah, 100%. No, I agreed with you. Agreed because I think Messi does have a completely different skill set. So look, 4-0, 4-0 to Canada. Another goal. Saliba has scored a goal. Canada have scored again. So it's I think this is the first free kick. Is this the first free kick goal? I think this is the first free kick goal that we've seen scored. Easy. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. And guys, do not forget as well to give the channel a like as well. Do not forget to give the channel a like. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel as well. JB, how do you feel about Harry Kane dropping so deep? I know he can do it, but I want him in the box at all times. Jay, I would comment back to that is, are they playing to Harry Kane's strengths? So what I mean by that is that if you look at Harry Kane and the way that he plays for Bayern Munich, he sort of does that as well. So he's Harry Kane is reminds me of a quarterback. He's a bit like a quarterback. So I think he's extremely fit. He's not young, but I think he can still do it at the highest level. I would rather my best goal scorer in the box. I agree with you. I would rather my best goal scorer in the box because who else is there to score? Gordon, I thought had an awful game. Rashford when he came on. So I think I agree with you because like as you can clearly see, like Harry Kane was the quarterback playing in a deeper role, looking to feed the two wingers who were then coming in as centre forwards and then looking to run in behind. So I agree, Jay. I'd rather see Harry Kane in the box. I mean, he is a striker. What I find a bit weird, Jay, is most strikers as they get older, they tend to stay in the box. They tend to stay up there. But with Harry Kane, he seems to have been evolving his game. He's more of a number 10. I think Harry Kane is playing more of a number 10 role. And I think England, I think the forward line is quite a fluid line. I don't necessarily think that they're playing with a striker. Harry Kane is a striker, but he's almost playing like a number 10 role. So it's a fascinating thing. Again, from a tactical perspective, I understand what they're trying to do, Jay. But I agree with you. I think Harry Kane is a striker. I think we've got enough players in there for Harry Kane to be a striker, and you might say that, but I agree, Jay. I think Kane should be a striker. But I am old school, Jay. I am. So look, Qatar, two red cards. It isn't their day. Sadly, Kone for Canada looks like he's broken his leg. I wonder how bad it could be. Hopefully not too bad. And he comes back. He comes back stronger as well. And this is one of the dangers of the World Cup as well. I'm off, JB. Good stream. Thank you, buddy. And massive respect to Philip. Unless showing from earlier. I think this is a good team, but if you take Kane out, they are F, says Chris. I mean, the problem, and I think Chris is right here. I think this is a system team. Chris. I think for me, I think England are a system team. I think if Harry Kane is out of this team, who comes in to do that job? You know, I think this England team are reliant on Bellingham and Kane. I think Bellingham and Kane. I think those two are the system. I do. I think those two are the system, and I think Harry Kane is key to the system as well. So you know, England used to. Look, if you look at the abundance of talent that England had at one point, so we are just going to go into another hydration as well. So I think England always used to have, like if you look at, and again, Alan Shearer, was always the Shearer. Bush says, fair play, JB, staying up late to live stream. You're a better man than me. Look, thanks, Bush. If we beat Ghana, I would rest Kane for the Panama game and play Watkins or Tony. So Darren's in there. Darren says hi, hello, buddy. Agree with you. I think we need to. I think we need to keep Kane fresh. 100%. I do. I think we need to manage him. Ray says hot take. Keep Rashley. See if Carrick can get something from him, and hopefully raises his stock and sell him next summer. Wave to Amazon, showing his face, and he'll play blinders. Says Red. I think that's an interesting take, Red. I don't hate it. I don't. Again, look, the good thing about this channel is when you make your comments, if I say it's not because I'm disagreeing with it, I just think you've made a good comment on it. The problem is for me, Rashford's got 2 years left on his deal. If Rashford doesn't get sold this season, he will run down his contract. So I think the problem for me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm sure Rashford's only got 2 years left on his contract. The problem for me is if Rashford stays, and again, I'm not opposed to it. My two reasons are, number one, if Rashford stays, then I think we failed. I think if Rashford does stay, I think that we have failed. I don't know any other club that would do what they did with a Rashford and he comes back. Number one. Number two is if he stays, then we're not going to get a penny for him, because if he goes into the final year of his contract, no one's going to pay him. They're not going to pay us for him. They'll just wait for him. So it's Red. It's a. I'm not. I don't disagree with it, but I think it's a case of if we're gonna keep him, and people are serious about keeping him, then that's fine. But we've got to understand that if we keep him, he leaves on a free. And do we want another player that we've basically spent? He gets paid about £1.4 million a month. So what's that? 14, 15, 17. So he gets paid about 18 million quid a year, 17 million quid a year over 2 years. So he's going to get paid 36 million quid, and then he's going to leave on a free. So, if people are comfortable with that, then that's fine. But my reason for selling him is because unless he gets sold this summer, then I think we lose out on money that we desperately need. I think, but fair point though. Not fair point. What else are we saying on here? Jay says Rashford to Bayern. Rashford to Bayern Munich. Rashford, Kane, Elise as a front three would be good. Yes. The most annoying thing for me, and I'm gonna put it on rant mode time. Barcelona. I mean, cheeky, and I'm going to try and not to swear here. Barcelona, the cheeky little W's. they don't want to buy him. They've turned down, and this is what their plan is, right? Barcelona didn't want to pay the money for him. Okay, so what they want to do is they want to loan him again because they know next summer he will they will get him at a fraction of the price. This is what Barcelona are trying to do. I've figured it out. What Barcelona are trying to do, and this is scummy behaviour. They know they can get Marcus Rashford for dirt cheap. Marcus Rashford at 31 will be fine. He'll be able to play in the Bundesliga at that age. He'll be able to play in Serie A. Perfectly fine. What Barcelona want to do is they want to loan him back because they know next year he's got 1 year left on his deal. So they'll be able to sign him for pittance. That is what they want to do. And Barcelona can F off. They can if we now do a deal with Barcelona, tough. Like we will look like fools, and you can't go on one game. But Anthony Gordon, and I've seen some ludicrous takes that apparently Rashford is going to be more expensive than an Anthony Gordon. It's a load of nonsense. It's a load of absolute tripe. Marcus Rashford has already said that he'll take a pay cut. Anthony Gordon is on 300k a week, 70 million quid. That's about 150, 160 after agents' fees, after signing on fees. Marcus Rashford is prepared to take a cut. So that's another goal. 5-0. 5-0 on goal. 5-0. 5-0 to Canada. 5-0. So Barcelona must think that people are stupid, because I know Barcelona what it is that they're trying to do. So again, I would just stick two things up to Barcelona and say you've had your chance. £26 million for Rashford, who will take a pay cut, is cheap. So they've missed out on that deal. They can go and swivel for the player. So as far as I'm concerned, they're done. They're done. So look, I would rather keep a Rashford than sell him back to Barcelona. I would rather keep him than send him back to Barcelona. That is how strongly I now feel on this. I would rather keep Marcus Rashford than send him back to Barcelona on loan. Jay says, so Barcelona won't win anything next season. Madrid signing Cucurella, Silva, Canate, Dumfries, and look, Jay, they've not ruled out Enzo as well. So look, Real Madrid are serious. They are a serious club. Luka Modric, I think, is going back there as well. Actually, I think he's going to go back there as well. By the way, so yeah, they're building. But look, it's okay, Jay. It's okay, because let me tell you something. So Real Madrid have signed Cucurella. They've signed Bernardo Silva. They've signed Canate. They've signed Dumfries. They're looking at Mateus Fernandes. They are looking at bringing Luka Modric back. They're looking at Enzo. But Jay, don't worry, because United are going after Sander Berge. So we're going after Sander Berge. So look, Real can stick their Cucurella, their Bernardo Silva, their Canate, their Dumfries. They can stick it all where the sun don't shine, because we're looking at Sander Berge. So that's all I'm saying. We're gonna have Luke Shaw as left back. I mean, Luke Shaw is as we all know, is a player that people fear. We've got Harry Maguire at 34 years old. He might turn like a tanker. He might turn like a tanker, but We've got Delict, who's God knows when he's going to be back. We've got Lissandro Martinez, who plays like he's world class when he plays for Argentina. We've got Adalo, you know. So we don't need we don't need Cucurella, Bernardo Silva, Canate, Dumfries, Enzo. We've got these players. Sanderberg, what are we doing? Madrid are doing good business. Yes, Chris. No, no, they are. They are doing, Chris, what we should be doing. Cucurella for 50. Okay, fine. He's a good player. Dumfries for 15 million. Dumfries for 15 million quid is ridiculous value. Canate on a free, Bernardo Silva on a free. It is ridiculous. They're just doing their business. They're not messing around. They're doing their business. They've got a bunch of money for Munez, who's gone to Liverpool. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Crazy. So Canada, this game is finished. Canada 5, Qatar 0, 2 red cards. For Qatar, they're just surviving. It wouldn't surprise me if this was a 6 or 7-0. Qatar have been unlucky, really. I think, really, to be fair. Madrid signing Dumfries. I don't think Jose rates Trent. Arnold could see a return to Liverpool happening. Yeah, yeah, but I like the Dumfries signing, Jay. It's a very, very smart signing. It's a very, very clever signing. They've also tied down Rudiger as well. So Rudiger's been tied down to another contract, which again I think is smart. I think it's a smart move. Chris says we have been acting like Billy Big Nuts. We're saying that we're doing things and we can't get our fifth choice players. And Chris, we were I I don't get what we were thinking, you know. And I almost blame the media. I blame bigger fan channels. I blame the media, and the reason I do is because they've been complicit in this spin. So you've got David Ornstein who talks out of his arse at times. Fabrizio Romano, Ornstein, etc., who are mouthpieces of this club. And what they do is they put spin into the fan base. Look, I got told on this channel, which I've said many, many times, I got told that we weren't going to sign him. Man City were always going to do the deal. The reason what gave us hope was that the reason why they gave us hope was because they needed the clicks. Big fan channels need your clicks. Fabrizio Romano needs your clicks, and it was spin. There was this whole I can't remember who said it. It might have been old what's his name, old Ben, who goes on to the United stand, and Ben was saying he was basically saying how people are gonna be surprised about Anderson. They're gonna be surprised at his price because they've got special clauses in his contract that if a Champions League club comes in, it's going to be cheaper. People, he was saying that I reckon it's going to be around 70 million quid. So Jacobs, Ben, looks a bit stupid now, doesn't he? Because it was nowhere near that. He'd been talking about this for months and months and months, saying that it's going to be a cheap deal. It was never going to be a cheap deal. If there was these fictitious clauses, which Ben I think fucking made up, if there were these clauses in his contract, where are they? Why is he going for 125? So this is what I mean. Even people that previously to this window, I would have said I actually think that they're pretty good. They've been caught lying. They've been caught spinning stuff that's not true. They've been spinning a yarn for months. You know, on this channel when everyone else was talking about Semenyo, we were told Semenyo was never coming. Semenyo was never coming, despite this club going, yeah, we got the money. We've got Semenyo money, right? And all you hear from other people now is Nicky T, yes. So all you hear now from the fan channels when they're talking about how much money that we've got to spend, they talk about this Semenyo money. There is no Semenyo money. There isn't Semenyo money. There never was. Look, we've gone through, and this is what bugs me. This is what annoys me about some channels that don't know the financials, who just report the news. Is they talk about Semenyo money, right? Belabor money. We don't have the money. Look, we've gone through the Q3 accounts on this channel. We've gone through the accounts. We've gone through everything there is to go through. There is no Semenyo money. There is no Belabor money. It's just ludicrous. Nicky says we were told we're going after tier 1 targets. His season is over, says Leo. We were told we're going after, and Nicky, look, we were told by Chris Wheeler, and again that week, Nicky, was this. So we got told that Chris Wheeler come out and said that we were after tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, right? And then Fabrizio Romano and Sky have come out and said we're actually only going to go for 2. And this is what I mean about the confusion in this fan base. As far as I'm concerned, it was always going to be 2. Look, could we do 3? Of course, but this whole, Nicky's right, this whole nonsense that was spun by the media from Chris Wheeler is clearly lying. You know, tier 1, 2, and 3, it never existed. It never existed. Leo is in the house. We should have never sold Carreras, really good left back, and now Madrid won't let him play because they have Cucurella. Carreras was an absolute stupid thing that we did. Ridiculous. I don't know who's ever in charge of that. Is absolutely ridiculous deal to do. Qatar are getting their ass whooped, says Dershan. Yes, they are getting their butt whooped. Carrick's choice of players aren't coming in, and we're picking up third, fourth choice players to fit where the Glazers do decide, says Chris. Chris, this window is about cheap. And Chris, do you know the most frustrating thing for me on this channel is that the one thing, Chris, that we do extremely well as a community, is that we talk through the numbers. And I know people get bored of it, right? People get absolutely bored of talking about the numbers. I get that. But it's clearly the reason why we're not buying players is because you simply, all you've got to do is just look at the numbers. The numbers will tell you everything that you need to know. It is as simple as that, and this is why we do the numbers, because United can tell the community, can tell people, well, we're gonna go and sign. I'll give you an example, right? Monday, right? It was put out there. About 6 months ago. I think we covered it on here as well. That Diamonde was going to cost 100 million. Okay. I saw today. I'd love to name the channel. I'm not going to do it. But they were saying today, and they created a poll, and they basically said, would you rather Somerville for 35 million, or would you rather Monday for 75 million? It was never going to happen. The price has always been 100 million quid. And Chris, we as you say, we're never going to sign those players. Look, it is absolutely ridiculous. Like this misinformation. Liverpool tonight have had a bid of 100 million pounds turned down for a Monday. So what was that channel going on about 75 million pounds for a Monday? It's never going to happen. We spoke on this channel. Look, it wasn't my news, but a credible reporter said that Monday was going to be 100 million, and yet today, just for clicks, we're seeing 75 million. Liverpool have just had a bid turned down of 100 million pounds. It's ridiculous. United have all the time in the world to choose the right guys. Dershan, mate, they don't, and I'll explain why. Qatar is yeah. So much for hosting the 2022. Yeah, thumb down for. I'm not gonna get into all that. Look, Dershan, we don't, mate. We don't have all of the time in the world, my friend. If you look at Liverpool are doing their business, Arsenal are going to start to do their business. Real Madrid are doing their business. Man City, Darshan, we don't, mate. We really don't. We've got to do our business now. Oh, yeah. Look, this game is pretty much gone. I'm off to bed, says Nikki T. Great stream. Thank you, Nikki. See you very soon. See you very soon, Nikki. Legend of the channel, as always. As always. Even Spurs are doing business. And look, Jay, it is embarrassing, Jay. It is so embarrassing, Jay, that Spurs are looking to do their business. It is. I am expecting by the morning it to be announced. I'm expecting a Fabrizio Romano bomba. I am expecting a Fabrizio Romano bomber. It damn, I guess we are in tough position. Then I hope Carrick at least 50% of his job. Look, so Darshan, mate, it is a this season, this transfer window is already under threat. It doesn't look, we don't need to panic just yet, but the transfer window is under threat. It is a little bit under threat. If we don't get Fernandes, the options are Sander Berge and Baleba. Those are the options. So look, for those of you who don't want to sign Mateus Fernandes for £80 million, who are you expecting to confidently sign? Who do I think that will sign? I think that will get the Matheus Fernandes deal done. I think so. David has got his hat trick. Hat trick for Jonathan David. I will come back to that. So Jonathan David, hat trick for Jonathan David. Well done to him. Brilliant. Well done. Well done to him. Another World Cup hat trick. Well done. Absolute legend. Who do I think? Who am I expecting us to sign? I'm still confident. I'm still confident on Mateus Fernandes. I am. The only other one that I'm 100% confident on is Baleba. I don't want Baleba. I don't necessarily want him as our only signing. Edison, of course. Edison technically hasn't been signed yet, but Edison, confident on that. I am confident it's either going to be Matías Fernandez or Baleba. I am confident that we will get the Matías Fernandez deal done. I've been told this. I'm confident that we will get it done. If we don't get it done, we've dropped the ball, and if we don't get it done, then we'll go for Baleba, and it will be ridiculously bad. I'm not bothered about the big names. We are letting good players go on less than we're willing to pay for average players. Exactly. Yeah, so David, hat trick for all this years. We don't have backup. It's disgusting. Darshan, I agree with you. Chris says the Dutch left back for less than Hall would have been a great deal. I agree. Look, we just, can somebody explain to me this? Marcus Rashford, right? I know because of the wages, but how can Gordon go for 70 million? How can Alanga in the previous league go for 60 million? And we can't sell a Rashford for more than 26 to 30. Now, yes, the wages are high, but look, Gordon is on 300k a week. It's just ridiculous. My thoughts on Krupi. I like Krupi. I'd sign him. I like Krupi. He's going to be very expensive though, but I do like Krupi. Bournemouth have got some really good players. Bournemouth has got some good players. Krupi for me, I like him. I really like him. I think he's quick. I think his shot on him is very, very good. I think he's got a very good brain. I think he's got loads of potential. I think his ceiling is very, very high as well. So I like Krupi. The United manager has not have been on not doing good business. The players who come here only for the money, but not for the club. I think I would have agreed with you previously, Darshan. I think that the last season was different. I do. I do agree with your comment about the previous seasons, but I do think that currently, you got the likes of Cunha. I think Cunha plays for the club. I think Ibuma plays for the club. I think Shesko plays for the club, I think Dorgu does as well. I don't think. I think we've got rid of some of those players like a Jaden Sancho, Anthony, Rashford, hopefully. So I would agree with you. Don't you think it's too late? It's too late for Rashford for me anyway. Yeah, I think it's too late for Rashford. For me, to be fair. But again, if Rashford comes back, what are we supposed to do? I don't want him back, as I've explained on this channel. Larmans was our most important signing. J. I can't even tell you, Jay, what a signing. I can't even tell you. Larman's last season was my signing of the season. Absolutely ridiculous. JK is an underrated player. I'd sign him. I agree with you. I really, really like him as well. Leonard says Buadi. Forget Buadi. Forget Buadi. Forget him. Forget him. Buadi is not even on the horizon. PSG, Arsenal, Buadi. Don't even let it enter your mind. Do not even let it enter your mind. This season was pretty good doing it with ifs and buts. Dershan, I like that. I like that. We did it with ifs and buts. I can't believe Larmans is the third choice keeper for Belgium at the World Cup. Larmans is just ridiculous. He is just what a player. Larmins for me, and when I say what I'm about to say, I'm not going over the top. I'm not trying to say it in an over the top way for clicks. He reminds me of Schmeichel. And when I say he reminds me of a Schmeichel, it's his frame. It's his frame. It's the way that he commands his box. It's just there are certain little things that I see. Physically, he reminds me of Schmeichel. The way that he commands his box, the way that he's really calm and cool. I'm not saying he's going to be a Schmeichel, but of all the keepers that we've had, he just reminds me he's very, very Schmeichel-esque. Um, it doesn't mean to say he's gonna reach the heights of, you know, but look, he is. I think he's a fantastic player. I've heard United want Barcola. Is it true? He's not signing, mate. Barcola is not signing. Um, at the moment, I've not heard anything concrete. I can't stand that word. Um, Barcola, Barcola is not coming here, mate. Um, Barcola is going to cost 80 million. Barcola is going to want 200k a week. We're not in for Barcola. We're not. We're not. We're not. I see that there are a lot of new players that I don't even know the players. Like we used to see vintage names. Now I don't even know half the players around the world. Do you know what? That's a very, very interesting comment because I feel the same way. Big one of the biggest defeats in the World Cup this year, says Alex. Yes, 6-0 is a massive one. Okay, thanks, man. No problem at all, my friend. 6-0 is a ridiculous scoreline. Crazy, crazy scoreline. 6-0. Gonna get unlucky. So look, the game's finished. So 6-0 to Canada. Look, those games. Lyman's is a Schmeichel check mix. Yeah, I can see that, Chris. No, I can see that. I agree, Chris. He's just very, very Schmeichel-esque in terms of the way that he just the way that he like holds his body, and he's just a very calm guy. But I can see the check aspect in it as well. I really can. So look what an interesting game. I'm glad I stayed up for this one. 6-0. Look, the downside to it is that Kone for Canada has broken his leg. I think he has, and I think it could be a bad one. Darshan says Qatar were like what to say, cooked even before they were cooked. That's bigger than the 7-1 Curacao game. It is. Look, it's always a better tournament for me when the hosts or the joint hosts they go through, and Canada were good for it tonight. So look, Jonathan David hat trick as well. So well done to him. So look, the goals being scored at this World Cup, I think we're going to see some high scores in the World Cup. Look, a very entertaining game, I think, from a Canadian perspective. Qatar were outrun, outmatched. They couldn't. They had nothing. They had no response, and he had two players sent off. They had a penalty against them. The first sending off, yes. The second one, obviously, was you know not great. Canada played like Prime United. We should have signed Van der Sar after Schmeichel in '99. He was available and glad we signed him in the end. Yeah, I agree because I think he was at Juventus, wasn't he? So he was at Ajax and then Juventus, and then I think Fulham signed him then on a really cheap deal. I think Van der Sar was an absolute fantastic keeper. I mean, brilliant signing. Fantastic goalkeeper. Uh, we have seen decent left wingers so far. I don't know. I think any good players that we've seen have been, outside of the outside of more so the top teams. Obviously, France. If I think France have an abundance of wingers. If you look at France, absolutely crazy. In Canada, the bars will be empty tonight, regardless of money. Who you are, who would I pick? If I if money wasn't an option, who would I pick? Nisa for Norway is good, Jay. No, I agree with you. If I could pick any player and money wasn't an option, I would probably look. I think that the first thing that we need to do is go for a midfield player. So I think I would probably go for somebody like a Tuamini. I would probably go for somebody like a, a Valverde. I think that midfield position for me is just ridiculous. Like Anderson, I know Anderson is mentioned a lot, but for me, Anderson is a gamble. Um, Anderson is a gamble for me because he cost is good, and the reason why he's a gamble for me is because he's never done it in he's never done it in the Champions League, and that is what we need. Um, I don't think he played particularly well yesterday. And I've seen players, I've seen people talking like he was prime Zidane yesterday. He wasn't. He really wasn't. So I think for me, Anderson, I like him, but I think I would go for Valverde. I mean, if money wasn't an obstacle, you if money wasn't an obstacle, you still have to deal with the rules that govern how much you spend. Fair enough. So if we've got to govern how much that we can spend, I would go for I'd go for a midfield of two Amani. I'd go for a midfield of Mateus Fernandez to Amani. I would. I'd sell Ugarte. I'd probably bring in Sangare, somebody along those lines of Kamara. So then you've got Kobe Mainu, you've got Kamara, you've got two Amani, Matthias Fernandez. That could be too much, but you know, um, left back wise, Truffit, somebody like that, because I am now thinking about the money. Lewis, I don't think that we could do Lewis Hall and Matthias Fernandez and two Maney and still live within the squad cap rule as well. Left wing, I don't know. I don't know. I really, really don't know. The left hand side for me, gamble. And then if I could then, I'd then want a striker. I'd go for somebody like Mateta. As I'm staying within the bounds of the rules, I'd probably look for somebody like a Mateta. I'd probably like somebody like a Tony as well. So I think I'd probably look to do something along those lines. What backup striker would you go for? I think we need a more experienced striker. Agree with you. I think we do, Jay. I think we need Mateta type. I like Mateta. I do. I really, really like him. Vlahovic for me, no, thank you. Vlahovic, 100% no. Lewandowski is going to be too expensive, and at 40 years old, I would go for Tony. I would go for Tony. I like Tony. If we could get him from the Saudi league, let's go back to see what some of us are saying in here. I know there's a question in there that I didn't answer. Did Alex says, did you see them playing down Cristiano after his performance? Yes, I did. Look, Cristiano wasn't great, was he? Look, hopefully Cristiano can come back, but the writing could be on the wall for Cristiano, and it's okay. He's 41. Cristiano is 41 years old. Let the man rest. I'm not surprised. The fact that he's even got himself to a World Cup is phenomenal. So, look, there's only 2 years between me and Cristiano, right? There's only 2 years. So what I'm saying is, when I was 41, I could never have gone to a World Cup. So it's testament to Cristiano that he's even made it into the World Cup. I think this should be his last World Cup. I say this, it's unpredictable to say whoever you pick is harder. It's just example. 10 years back, it was predictable. What about a striker? I just hate seeing City do whatever the heck with the money, but a club has United are degraded so much I can't recognise the club. But let's I'll if like Tony too expensive, Dimbala on the cheap. Oh, I mean, I don't know about Dembala. Um, I liked him way back when, but Dembala for me, I mean, I don't know. Um, it might work, Chris. I tell you who I would have gone for, a Griezmann. Um, I would have gone for Griezmann. I don't know. I mean, Griezmann's like 30, what, 36 years old. I would have, if it was possible, I would have gone for a Griezmann for the last 2 or 3 years. I think somebody like that would have been very, very interesting. I like him as well, so I think I would have done that. Dembala for me, maybe not so much. For me, 41 years old, playing in a wheelchair as possible. He's a legend. I know he is. I mean, he is a legend. I mean, 41 years old is crazy. Welbeck says Jay Dyson says I know Griezmann. Welbeck, I like Welbeck. I'm not against that signing. I think Welbeck would be a very astute move. But all I'm going to say is we're fight. Look, the only thing I'm going to say is this: we're talking about cheap, right? People in this fan base want to win a league. They want to go far into the Champions League. Are we going to win a league with Danny Welbeck? That's all I'm going to say. But look, guys, on that note, I am going to go. Look, thank you so much for watching the watch along with me. Look, I know it's a bit of a weird one. Qatar, Canada versus Qatar. Dembala, cheap, different type of to come off the bench on a free. The only thing is, Chris, how much wages? That's my only thing. Is free is never free. He's gonna want a payment, and I wonder how much his wages are gonna be as well. So I'm not adverse to it, Chris, as long as it is not like 300k a week and he wants 20 million to sign on, because that isn't cheap. But look, I'm not against that one. So look, guys, on that note, I will be back tomorrow at some point. So look, a massive thank you to those of you who have joined me on the stream. I know it's a late one here, 1 o'clock in the morning. But look, Canada versus Qatar, probably more entertaining than I thought it would be. Look, get well soon to Kone. Kone, the tackle on him was like it wasn't meant, but it looks like it's a bad one. Hopefully, a speedy recovery to him. Qatar, look, are basically out of the World Cup. From a mathematical perspective, they're not, but they are out. And look, it wasn't an easy game. Did their best. Red cards. What can they do? What can they do? So, guys, on that note, I will be back tomorrow with you amazing people. I'll give you an update on whatever's out there as well, and back for the Scotland match tomorrow as well. So you'll be seeing plenty of me over the next couple of days and weeks as well. So thank you for being here. So look, I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow at some point.